So they're kicking them out of Martha's Vineyard. All these migrants that were sent there from Texas and Florida. Oh, this is so juicy. This is so juicy. Because after all this talk of sanctuary cities, bring us you're tired, you're hungry, you're poor, and promising these people the world, now these ultra-leftists, these Democrats, people like Elizabeth Warren, they don't want to deal with this. So they're kicking these migrants out of Martha's Vineyard. And Governor Baker, the governor of Massachusetts, has come out and said that he's exploring his options of sending these migrants somewhere else. No, you just don't want to deal with this. But the dirty little secret is, and I have a story for you here at WCVB5 Boston, Boston's news leader. By the way, who determined that WCVB5 is Boston's news leader? Or did they just give themselves that title to make themselves feel good? But Governor Baker is exploring these options of sending these migrants somewhere else. Almost reminds me of what happened during the Civil War with the Lincoln administration. Abraham Lincoln was debating on whether or not he should send these newly freed slaves back to Africa, have them colonized on their own. And these migrants are now claiming that they were lied to, misled. But Mayor Leadfoot in Chicago, she's kicking them out of her city. But the dirty little secret here, and I need to address this because nobody wants to talk about this is the elephant in the room. You establishment types, both Republican and Democrat, mentioned this before, I'm an independent voter, but you establishment types, you're responsible for this whole immigration mess. You would sit on your ass for eternity if it meant getting votes from these people. That's exactly what you would do, and don't deny it. You would sit on your ass for eternity if you could get votes from these migrants. I mean, illegal immigrants. So it says here, migrants, and this is an article that came out today, migrants flown to Martha's Vineyard given misleading information, lawyers say. Now we've got the lawyers involved with this. And they've got a clip you can click on. And it shows this graphic of this brochure that says Massachusetts Refugee Benefits. And now they're claiming at Martha's Vineyard that these maps that these migrants were given, this brochure, that these were cartoonishly made or poorly put together. But if you actually look at these, they look like a brochure you pick up somewhere or a map you'd find on Google. Tisbury, Massachusetts, as volunteers continued to help the dozens of Venezuelan migrants who were brought to Martha's Vineyard in Massachusetts, immigration attorneys speaking with the men, women, and children are getting a better understanding of how they ended up on two chartered planes. Well, they ended up on two chartered planes at Martha's Vineyard, Boston, Massachusetts, in New York City, or whatever the state or city was, Chicago, because Texas and Florida were actually following the law. This is the reason I wanted to talk about this tonight. Because part of American culture is this idea of law and order. And we have immigration laws on the books for a reason. It's not because we're trying to be racist, sexist, homophobic. It's a matter of national security. And in reality, the state should be handling immigration policy, not D.C. If you left it up to the states, I can guarantee you we'd have this problem with immigration solved. Quote, they were told in Texas that they were coming to a place that had jobs and homes and shelter waiting for them. This according to Larkin Stallings, who's with the Martha's Vineyard Community Services, who talked to WCVB5 Boston. Again, Boston's news leader. Quote, they feel lied to and they feel betrayed and that, yeah, this was not what they expected, a translator said for one of the migrants who talked to WCVB 5 Boston. The migrants told WCVB that a woman in Texas approached them and told them to get on board the 2 chartered planes. They said they had no idea they'd be landing on Martha's Vineyard. Quote, they initially were told by a woman on the street after asylum in San Antonio. Okay, so I'm supposed to buy this, that some woman just came up randomly off the street and told these people that they had to get on these planes and they were going to go to Massachusetts. And that they would find sanctuary there. This also according to the translator. And there's a tweet. It says here, these were some of the documents the migrants who arrived on hashtag Martha's Vineyard. Aren't you tired of hashtags? Were provided by whomever transported them there. Local immigration lawyers are now working with the 50 or so men, women, and children. So you mean to tell me that you people in Martha's Vineyard, you can't handle 50 women, men, women, children? You can't handle this small number of migrants after making all these promises to these people? Don't the Obamas live in Martha's Vineyard? Now that would be a great public relations campaign. Have these migrants stay at the Obamas. Oh, but that would never happen. That would never happen. When I was growing up, we had a rule of thumb. Don't say or do anything unless you can back it up. Immigration lawyers say a brochure the migrants were given about where they were going contained misleading information to set them up for failure. No, you people, you establishment types, you set these people up for failure by making all these promises, by wanting to be their Santa Claus. Quote, accounts from the migrants who arrived Wednesday night made it clear that they were lied to again and again and fraudulently induced to board the planes. Rachel Self, who operates an immigration law firm up in Boston, said from Martha's Vineyard. Quote, they were told there was a surprise present for them and that there would be jobs and housing waiting for them when they arrived. Which is what you promised them back in 2020. Quote, they were provided with a cartoonishly simple map of Martha's Vineyard and the United States and a brief brochure containing snippets from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts website and instructions to change their address with the USCIS when they relocated, Self said. Self accused whomever provided the immigrants with the brochures of providing false information, saying the federal agency was not who the migrants would have to record their addresses with. Quote, this was a purposeful derailment designed to prevent people from complying with federal immigration policies, Self said. Oh, so now you're for legal immigration. I thought you were for allowing anybody in this country who wants to come in. Now you're changing your tune because this is at your doorstep. Massachusetts Governor Charlie Baker said his administration is, quote, exploring another move for dozens of migrants who arrived on Martha's Vineyard on Wednesday aboard charter flights linked to Florida state government. Quote, the Baker-Polito administration is exploring setting up temporary shelter and humanitarian services at Joint Base Cape Cod. We'll share additional information as soon as it becomes available, Baker said in a written statement he issued Thursday. The group of approximately 50 Venezuelan migrants, some of them children, arrived aboard charter flights on Wednesday evening. They were brought to Martha's Vineyard Regional High School where they were given snacks and shelter. So you're delivering somewhat on your promise by giving them snacks and shelter. But not a permanent home. Come on, Obama, step up to the plate. This would be a great public relations campaign for the Democrats. Quote, my understanding is there was no advance communication or notice that this plane and these people were arriving. Massachusetts State Rep. Julian Sire, who serves Cape Cod, Martha's Vineyard, and Nantucket, told WCVB. Quote, the officials on Martha's Vineyard, municipal and county officials, scrambled but did a pretty remarkable job to welcome these families. Oh, you see, we're engaging in this thing we call America, the American ideal of helping people out. Because the reason I bring that up is because this whole talk about America being racist, sexist, homophobic, and that's why we have immigration policy to begin with, right? One of the migrants said Thursday that he was told to get on a plane in San Antonio. He said that he wants to go to school and thought he was traveling to find work. Barb Rush and others at St. Andrew's Episcopal Church on Summer Street in Edgartown have been working all day to help the families she says are from Venezuela, some with children as young as 2 years old. Quote, many of them seem overwhelmed, Rush said. We receive calls from restaurants offering food, people trying to help. It's amazing. Quote, on behalf of the Commonwealth, I thank everyone on the ground who quickly came together to provide assistance on the Vineyard, Baker said. Commonwealth has many resources for assisting individuals that arrive in Massachusetts with varying immigration statuses and needs, and is working with all partners involved to make sure those resources are available to the migrants that arrive or who arrived last night. And they've got a picture here of Governor DeSantis from Florida. Quote, this is so good. Florida can confirm the 2 planes with illegal immigrants that arrived in Martha's Vineyard Wednesday were part of the state's relocation program to transport illegal immigrants to sanctuary destinations, a statement from the Florida Governor Ron DeSantis' office said. Quote, states like Massachusetts, New York, and California will be better to facilitate the care of these individuals who they've invited into our country by incentivizing illegal immigration through their designation as sanctuary states and support for the Biden administration's open border policies. Thank you, Governor DeSantis. All Governor DeSantis did was force you Democrats, you establishment types, to keep your promise. So go check out this article at WCVB5, Boston. Again, Boston's news leader. Though we haven't determined who determined that. Migrants flown to Martha's Vineyard given misleading information, lawyers say. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, you know what to do. You can also follow me at Instagram, #JasonComposes, or find me at Twitter, Culture Confederacy at Twitter. This is the Culture Confederacy saying peace out, stay safe, everybody. God bless this great country, and I'll catch you next time.